Hello everyone, this is Mystic Ninja Soul coming at you again. This time I am showing you the opening sequence in the Secret World Legends. This is an online RPG that used to be an MMO back in 2010. It is now entirely free to play with a brand new combat system and leveling system. In this video, I am going to show you what happens when you decide on the faction that you wish to be a part of. Now there are 3 factions in total within the game that you can choose: the Illuminati, the Templars, and the Dragon. For the purpose of this video, I chose Illuminati, which is based in New York City within the United States. The Templars, they are based in London within the UK. And lastly, the Dragon are based in Seoul, Korea, which is located in South Korea, if no one knows that. Now, the dream sequence that you're about to see after I create my character is completely different from when I played the game in 2010. Now, the main difference within the character creation, though, is you don't have a whole lot of options as you did when the game was first made. This is a downside, in my opinion, because it makes it a lot harder to make the character how you want it to look. But overall, they have slightly improved the graphics. I'm going to make this character as close as possible to the look of my actual physical person. And now for the purpose of this video, I did use my real first name, but I did not use my real last name. Now, something that I hope this game gets that a lot of other games are now starting to get are colorblind filters, because unfortunately a lot of the colors within the game, you'll come to find out, look very, 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 very similar. And it makes it very hard for someone that has a deuteranopia, which is a red-green color blindness, protanopia, which is also a red-green color blindness, and then tritanopia, which is blue-green. So certain colors some people will not be able to see. Now, another difference within this, after you choose your clothing, is you get to choose the class that you want to be. Now, back in 2010, you didn't have classes. You could make your character however you felt, however you wanted to play as. Now, that is one big gripe in my opinion. But I mean, overall, the game's pretty good. I mean, in preference, I mean, not preference, but in retrospect, the game pretty much is about every last myth, legend that you've ever heard of, conspiracy theory, secret factions, shadow people, stuff like of that nature. In this game, it is all completely true. Magic, you name it, it's all true. Zombies, they're all true. And it's kind of like a I forgot who made the stories. I'd have to look that up, but it's based off of a lot of stories, like think of Cthulhu and stuff like that. That's where they got the premise for this game. Now, it's actually really good. This is made by Funcom, and like I said, when it came out in 2010, it was designed as an MMO RPG. But a lot of people were still griping because even though it was an MMO, it still had a lot of single player elements. So they just kind of went with a whole mainly single player RPG online type thing. I mean, you can still join it with people for like dungeons and stuff of that nature, but at the same time, it's a lot different. All right. Now, what you're about to see is the opening sequence of the game. This kind of shows you how your character gets his abilities. And it's very weird because it kind of gives it like a little bit of a prequel to it. So what happens is you're in your apartment, and basically you got this bee that's flying in, and it's coming from the tree of life, so to speak. And as you can tell, it's a weird bee because it's got this magical glow behind it. That's why I said within this, it's kind of like, you know, everything that you've ever known to be a myth or legend is now true. And as you see, you kind of swallow the bee, right? And you kind of go into a fugue type dream state. Kind of like a lucid dream. You're seeing things, but you don't know if it's a dream or not. Now, I don't, I think this is, I can't remember what's floating there, but it looks like blood. And I'm guessing what you're seeing there is kind of like an infection to the world, something dark, something evil coming into you. Okay, now here you wake up. Now, as you can tell, your character is very fit, so to speak. Now, this is the cool part. You kind of try and reach for your pajama top. And you're like, wait, how did I get these powers? And your character doesn't understand at first that the powers came from that bee that you swallowed. Now, the main downside is every other NPC talks, but your character doesn't. So it's like your character, after swallowing the bee, is mute, I guess. Not entirely sure. Now, you kind of get like a chronological events of everything that happens, so to speak. This is before you meet your agent that tells you about the factions. They come and recruit you because they hear about someone else that got new powers. Now, in all honesty, if this ever happened to anyone, this would be terrifying. I mean, the amount of destruction you would cause to your property or anything around you, like especially if you shot flames out of your body and then lightning beams out of your eyes, that would kind of freak me out. I mean, it's one of those things that would like, what? Okay, so now what's going on? This is something completely new that they did to the game from Secret World, and they introduced in Secret World Legends. This is the dream sequence, and like I said, it's completely different. So in here, it's kind of like your brand new tutorial. In a way, it kind of shows you a lot of different things. It shows you different puzzles, how to do your abilities. Now, the one main change they have done is they completely have revamped the entire combat system. Beforehand, like I was saying, you could create your own builds. Now, you have builds that you can do according to the class. So me, I chose the Magus, which is an elemental DPS, which means I have lightning and fire abilities. So it's pretty cool in my opinion. So, and this is what's mainly different because there was no Dream Architect. Now, when you're going through this, you're going to be hearing the voices, and it's mainly from the bee. So, in a way, it's like a fight between good and evil, light and dark, so to speak. It's interesting because you see there's a zombie, and you can see my character's throwing lightning bolts, and then near the end, I'm like, okay, let's throw some fireballs. Now, as you see that there's a meter that's showing up, it's showing heat. Now, that's something that did not happen beforehand. And I think they mainly changed the classes and the abilities and the combat system around because in the old game, you could sit there and launch so many different lightning attacks and not run out of juice. So they had to do it for balancing purposes, and I kind of like that they did that in a way because now your classes are not overpowered. But in a way, as you see how it has leveling, in the original game, you didn't have a level. They were kind of trying to base this more to be more real life kind of thing, like the real world, and not have any level system in your character. Now, like I said, this Dream Architect goes through and shows you so many different abilities, how to use them. Now, when you start off the game after you get out of the dream sequence, you're not going to have any abilities. You got to kind of go and train, get your focuses. So if you notice the weapons that pick up, they're what focuses specific abilities. Now, the Rakshasa, it's basically a demon in a way. Like I said, everything that you know and have heard of. Think of if I had to give you a hint what this game is like, think of Supernatural. Everything that they fight, the monsters and everything that they're trying to hide from the world, to keep secret. That's what this game is about. It's basically the world that has been hidden from you. kind of to keep your eyes off of it. Like basically, I'm part of a shadow network, that someone that works in the shadows to keep people from knowing about the existence of zombies, vampires, werewolves, and all that nature. That's kind of how that is. So as you see, I'm fighting more zombies, and then you kind of go through your boss fight. I don't continue this stream sequence though. That will be for a later video. Now, the one thing that I do like that they've done to this game compared to what they did originally is back when it was still the secret world, they kept changing the appearance of the NPCs, and I'm like, why do you keep doing this? Like, and most of the times when they changed them, it's like there was nothing wrong with them to begin with. Now, as you saw right there, going back to the abilities, how my lightning turned red. That's what happens when you start to overheat. When you overheat, you can't use any of your abilities until you use a cooldown ability, as you see. That's why I had to throw the ice down. Now, as you see, there are different classes. Now, you do have, this is a DPS class. There are classes that are considered tanky. But, you know, in this instance, I kind of wanted to do a DPS class because they're fun. They deal some damage. Now, the tank classes in this game are really, really well done. Now, this is basically a Revenant. These things are a pain in the ass to fight. And as you see, this Dream Architect keeps giving me different hints. So this is kind of your tutorial if you've never played the game. In a way, the Secret World Legends is a complete reboot to Secret World. Now, it was actually a really good reboot. I haven't played it in a long time. So there have been a lot of patches, so it's been changed quite a bit from when the game came out. Now, the only downside to this game is there are things that you have to pay for. And I don't know if you consider it pay to win, but certain things like special loot crates and stuff, you have to pay for those. And that's one of my biggest gripes within this game. But I mean, overall, if you don't really worry about that, it's actually a good game. It's got a really good storyline to it. So, I mean, if you're into Lovecraft type stuff, this is what you want to do. All right, everybody. So you can catch me on Twitch every Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And you can see me on Glimish starting on March 2nd. Links will be in the description below. Take it easy, everybody. Have a good one.